All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the first week of Sicily 2.0 is, I guess, what I'm calling it, but it's also what I'm calling No Etna Sicily. We've done Sicily box before, and I'm sure everybody on the call has at least had Sicilian wine at some point or another. But oftentimes when we talk about Sicily, we're oftentimes talking about Mount Etna, you know, all those it's really become a hotbed of a natural winemaking, you know, the Frank Corneliusen of the world that have really blown up. You know, all the Nerello Mescalese based wines, red wines from the slopes of Mount Etna. That's kind of what dominates the conversation when we talk about Sicily. But when you think about Sicily, Sicily is actually it always switches back and forth, but it's either the biggest wine producing region or it's the second biggest wine producing region after Veneto. So Veneto and Sicily are always trading back and forth in terms of who makes more wine. But again, it's a very, very significant wine producer. So there's a lot of wine being produced, and it's not all Mount Etna. It's a lot of different wines being produced around the whole island. And this month is all about kind of shining lights on some of those other regions, some of those other varieties, and other than Nerello Mescalese, and just kind of shining the underdogs of Sicily. And you know, my aim this month is to, you know, kind of like last month, you know, kind of the Loire supporting actors box, you know, where we kind of shine lights on those underdog varieties that most people don't talk about. It's kind of the same attempt with Sicily this month. Is that I'm trying to, hopefully by end of the month, that I'll intrigue your curiosity and then I'll convince you all that there's a lot of crazy, cool, fun stuff, delicious stuff that is being made outside of Mount Etna in Sicily. So don't write off the rest of Sicily because it's an incredibly diverse, fun, dynamic, and delicious wine producing places or regions. So anyways, we'll get more into that. But before we get into the actual wine stuff, just a few announcements. So tomorrow, the Case Club will go live. So all the wines that we tasted last month, so all the Loire supporting actors box, and there are quite a few fun ones that did not make it into the box. So I'm going to be featuring those as well. So those will all go live in Case Club tomorrow. So keep your eye out for that. And for those of you in both box, of course, this Friday, there will be another, I think will be the tasting number 10. The recording will go out on Friday as well. For those of you who attended Wine Prom, I don't know if you saw my email, but I did send out an email the day after or 2 days after, seeking some feedback about the Wine Prom, as well as for you to load up your pictures to Google Photos. Just so that we can all share each other's photos, if you'd like to share them. But I thought it would all be good to share each other's photos because I'm sure there's plenty of embarrassing moments that are caught on camera that we have not seen, and I'd like to see them all. So if you have them, please load up to the Google Photo. Check that email. There's a Google Photo album that I dedicated to the Wine Prom, so you can load all your pictures there. All the selfie booth pictures that we took are all on there already. Feel free to download as many different. Feel free to distribute it all however you like, share it with whoever. But yeah, and then there's also a survey that I sent out. It's all with the intent of making it better for next year. So if you could share your feedback on that survey form, I would greatly appreciate it. Besides that, I don't really have any other announcements. Do you guys have any questions about anything that I just went over or anything else before we get into the wine? Excellent. Well, hearing none, let's get into the wine. We're opening it all up with this guy. That 2021 Tenuta di Castellaro, Ypsilon, Terre Siciliane, Aeolian is what we got. In case you're wondering what these are actually islands, and we're going to talk about them. So this is technically Terre Siciliane, but this does not come from the actual island of Sicily. This comes from one of these islands. These are islands, 7 different islands that form this archipelago off the north coast of Sicily, which we'll show you right now. Let's look at the map. Here we go. Here's a map of Italy. I'm sure you guys all have seen this many, many times by now. What is going on here? There you go. It's better. All right. So where we're spending this entire month is right here, right at the toe of the boot. I guess this is the boot. It's an island. I don't know if Sicily part of the boot. I'm not sure, but this is where we are. This entire island of Sicily. And if you look a little more closely, this is kind of how it divides. We are going to get into more of this starting next week. But Sicily kind of divides into 3 different kind of valleys, and you no longer see them as valleys, but there are mountain ranges that basically run across the north, and then in the central part as well, but there's literally mountains on the southeast, and then of course there's Mount Etna. That's what we're talking about. So there's the kind of Marsala region, which is all, and most Americans know Marsala is kind of a cooking wine, fortified cooking wine that comes from here. But there's actually delicious drinking Marsala that also comes out. You guys should definitely try it. It's pretty good. But anyways, this is it, Marsala, and then there's central region, and then there's a southeast. This is where Vittoria is. This is where Ariana Occhipinti is based. A lot of Nero d'Avola dominant blend with the Frappato and Pericone and all those things. So there's some of that happening in the southeast. And then, of course, there's Mount Etna that kind of dominates it all, that comes from the northeast. And we'll talk more about this starting next week. But for the purpose of this week, really what we're focusing on is these islands right here. I mean, you see the name right here, Lipari, right there. And I'll be honest, I have no idea what Lipari was until I tasted this wine. But there's a grouping of 7 islands that kind of form the shape of Y, as you see on the label. So these 7 islands, this archipelago off the coast of northeast of Sicily, one of them, the biggest island, is Lipari, which is right here. And that's where this wine comes from. This is where the winery is, and this is where the fruit comes from. So Tyrrhenian Sea, if you look at this map, it kind of gets covered by this letterings here, but you kind of see them right here. So we're talking about this. So we're talking about Tyrrhenian Sea, which is this sea right here in the Mediterranean Ocean. And then there's 7 groupings right here. The name Ypsilon comes from the fact that these islands form the shape of Y, so hence the name Ypsilon. But yeah, that's where we are. These islands are UNESCO World Heritage Site. So 7 volcanic islands that together form the shape of Greek letter Ypsilon, the Y. When viewed from the above, this is literally where the wine gets its name. The island names are Lipari, Vulcano, Salina, Stromboli, Filicudi, Alicudi, and Panarea. I'm actually going to put that in the chat box because I'm sure I'm butchering all of that pronunciation. But, you know. Oh, where'd it go? There you go. The Lipari itself is a product of 300,000 years of volcanic activity here. So again, all these islands, including Sicily, really is the volcanic activity that really brought the presence of these islands, shaped by eruptions, lava flows, massive deposits of pumice, obsidian. Later on, you're going to see the pictures. In fact, I can probably show you now. You may see the pictures of the cliffs that this winery sit on. I mean, these are basically cliffs on the other side. You can't really see it from the other side, but those are all, oh, sorry, hold on. Those are all basically made out of volcanic soil. So we're talking about same, just like Mount Etna, volcanic soil and whatnot. The vineyard sits at 350 meters above sea level on the Castellaro plain, looking over the Alicudi, Filicudi, Salina, which is what you see in the background right here. The soils are volcanic, sandy loam, rich in pumice, obsidian, and mineral ash, extremely well draining, almost aggressively minerally. And then we're going to talk a lot about that, kind of the volcanic soil, influence of volcanic soil, what it had on the fruit and its expression when we get to tasting it. But it's kind of the thing that you, like a volcanic soil is something that you really, really notice when you get into the wine. A lot of things tends to get much darker, deeper. There's almost that kind of like a smoky kind of a thing that runs through. And then pretty much a lot of the wines that come from Sicily have that kind of common thread running through because they're all essentially built on. Not all of them. There are parts of Marsala that has different soil type, but a lot of different parts of particularly this island is all volcanic soil, just like Mount Etna. That's kind of what Sicily is known for. As you can imagine, the climate here is very much Mediterranean. You know, the fact that it is in the Mediterranean Ocean, the sea. What that means is that the sun here is blazing, constant wind is coming through. In fact, the Aeolian, which is what these islands are called, Aeolian Islands, the Aeolus is a Greek god of wind. The islands are the Aeolian Islands, named after the wind that comes through here. But it means it's a warm summertime and moderate wintertime. But because of that temperature and because of the wind that blows through here, there is a diurnal shift that happens here, which is that temperature difference between daytime and nighttime. And as you know, that the larger the swing of those temperature differences, the better it is for wine because it preserves the natural acidity of the wine by cooling it all down at nighttime. But during the day, all that heat and warmth and the sunlight really helps ripen the grape, both in terms of sugar, flavor, as well as the phenolics. So yeah, all these wines here, you're never gonna have like an underripe green fruit from here. If anything, overripe and overripening is the threat here, what you're gonna face in the Lipari Islands. This is what people talk about when they say heroic viticulture. Everything here is done by hand. The terrain is really steep and terraced, so the machine harvesting is not possible. Grapes are basically essentially carried up the hillsides by hand, in baskets, in some cases by donkey. So all this is just kind of a way that it's been done since the Greek, Roman times, and it's still done the same way. Let's talk a little bit about the grape itself, which is what's in here. This is what Corinto Nero is. I've actually never had Corinto Nero until this Friday, until I was tasting this. But this is what it is. So this wine is a dominant variety in this blend. So this wine is a blend of Corinto Nero, Nero d'Avola, and Alicante Bouschet. So 60% Corinto Nero, 30% Nero d'Avola, and 10% Alicante Bouschet. But this, I found out during my research, is the ancient indigenous signature red grape variety of Aeolian Islands. So it comes from the Greeks. So it has its origin in the Greece. But this whole kind of this part of Italy, like Sicily, Sardinia, all that, there's a huge Greek influence just because the Greeks kind of came through this area, the southern part of Italy. So it makes sense why the native grape here called Corinto Nero has its origin in Greece. But it is naturally a seedless grape variety, which is a pretty rare thing in wine grape world, or because in fact, the seeds themselves are oftentimes used, especially in red wine production, because you end up macerating it all on the skins and the seeds, so it actually extracts the tannins and phenolics from the seeds as well. So the fact that this is a completely seedless grape variety is a pretty interesting thing, pretty rare thing. But I actually don't know about any other grape variety, the wine grape variety that is seedless. Only the eating grape varieties that I know as seedless, but yeah, so anyways, something new. The name Corinto derives from Corinth, as in ancient Greece, reflecting the grape's Greek origin. The same grape is likely the source of the dry Zante currants, Corinthian raisins, used in baking. So oftentimes people think of the Christmas fruitcake that comes from this region, has a lot of ties to Lipari and this particular variety. Genetically, Corinto Nero is understood to be a very old clone or mutation of Sangiovese, but grown here on volcanic soils at altitude with sea winds. It is nothing like the Sangiovese that we know of Tuscany. It becomes something entirely kind of its own. It's much lighter in body, as you can tell when we get to tasting it. but it's really bright in acidity. The one thing that I really noticed about this wine immediately upon tasting it, I just could not believe how lifted it was, the acid on this thing. As you can tell, there's huge amount of, it doesn't lack concentration, right? Like it's rich, it's extracted, it's ripe, but it has this incredible lift and acid, which I found really, really refreshing and delicious. Because it's seedless, the berries are very small, as you can tell, super small, and there's bunches over here. Skin to juice ratio is very high, meaning the grape delivers serious concentration of color, flavor, and tannin relative to its modest size of the berries. What it means is basically it punches above its weight in terms of amount of extraction you can get out of it. Corintonero is nearly extinct. It fell out of favor during the 20th century when the wine tradition here on this island kind of collapsed. The island's economy shifted to tourism and fishing. But there's kind of been a resurgence, renaissance in the movement here to kind of revive the winemaking and then to bring back these kind of old varieties that have existed here for a long time. So Mazal selection, which is taking the best kind of plant that's doing well in the vineyard and then making cuttings from it. That's called Mazal selection. And the revival of these old vines is kind of central mission of what this winemaker, the Tenuta de Castellaro, is doing. All right. Speaking of which, Castellaro, let's talk about who makes this wine. By the way, this is the Corintonero vine here. As you can see, all bush trained. There's no trellis here. We're talking about very traditional, old school kind of winemaking. Anyway, this is a family. I actually don't know the kids' names, but I do know this guy's name, which is the main guy. His name is Massimo Lensch. It's Lentsch. That's his name. He actually does not come from the white background. He's a businessman and a sailor. He's just, very passionate, avid sailor from Bergamo, which is in northern Lombardy. So we're in northern Italy. In the summer of 2005, he was sailing around these islands and stopped at Lipari. He walked up the Piano de Castellaro, which is a plain that this vineyard sits on, looked out at sea, saw the abandoned terraced vineyards and the pumice cliffs that we're talking about, and decided that he was going to do something really insane and buy the vineyards and revive these vineyards and then make wine from it. So he founded Tenuta de Castellaro in 2005/2006. Again, with the goal of recovering those abandoned volcanic land, resurrecting ancient winemaking tradition, kind of bringing back Corintonero and all of that. And at the time, there's essentially no commercial winemaking that was happening in Lipari, and then he was kind of starting from the scratch. He partnered with a legendary winemaker by the name Salvo Foti. You might have heard that name. We actually featured one of his wines in the last time we did the Sicily box. But he's kind of the godfather of low intervention natural wine in Sicily. He's a founder of I Vineri, which is a winemakers guild here in Sicily that its origin dates back to 1435. I guess he kind of refounded and grew it again. And then if you see this is a pretty common thing. If you ever get to Sicilian red wine bottling with a kind of gnarled old vine embossed on the bottle, that's the mark of I Vineri. So people who belong to that association, they usually put that mark embossed right on their bottle, which the last bottle that we featured had that as well. Anyways, it's all about the same thing as very traditional Sicilian winemaking. So all that bush training that you saw earlier. So anybody who belongs to I Vineri uses a bush vine system, freestanding, and then the kind of a lower intervention winemaking in the south. Overall, they grow 22 hectares of vineyards, all organic, dry farmed on volcanic sandy soil. The cellar itself is apparently, I think I have a picture, is this one. So this is actually a super modern winery, and it's apparently a kind of a architectural sustainability gem. So as you see, all the solar panels over there, built into the hillside with the solar chimneys for light, 360 meters of underground thermal labyrinth cooled by wind towers using zero artificial energy is what their website says. I think the solar chimney, I think it's just a skyline. I think that's what that is. But yeah. Anyways, Massimo has since launched a second project on Mount Etna, so he also does make wine on Mount Etna under his own name. And then, so he's kind of, ever since 2005 and 2006, when he first bought this vineyard, he's kind of really gone into the wine game here in Sicily. So anyways, that's what it is. All right. What is this wine? So this is 60% Corinto, Nero, 30% Nero d'Avola, 10% Alicante Boucher, all organically farmed on volcanic soil on Lipari from bush vines, bush vine train. They're all destemmed. I mean, there's so much fruit on this thing. It kind of makes sense why it was destemmed. All indigenous yeast in a temperature-controlled stainless tank, fermented in temperature-controlled stainless tank. And then it gets aged for 12 months in the tank itself and racked before bottling, no filtering, no fining, just a touch of sulfites at the end is basically what it is. So we're talking about very pure, kind of a direct expression of the varietal expression of the fruit. There's not much winemaking here in terms of putting on oak aging or nothing like that. It's all stainless steel, so it should be pretty straightforward, especially if it destemmed, and we're talking about very, very kind of a purity of the fruit itself is what we're taking here. We'll talk more about this when we get to tasting it, but there's a lot, I mean, like, you know, talking about a wine of a place, right? Like something that tastes like the place that it comes from. And to me, I've never been to Lipari. In fact, I've never been to Sicily. But I would imagine this is exactly, if I distill Lipari into a glass, this is what it would taste like. There's a lot of what I imagine a Mediterranean island in the middle of, you know, on north coast of it, off the coast of Sicily. And if the wine was made, it would taste exactly like this. And we'll talk more about that, what I mean by that when we get to tasting it. Any questions before we get into tasting it? Cool. Where do I go? There you go. Let's taste it. Who wants to take the appearance?
I'll do it.
All right, Phil.
Problem. Let me see. And this wine's pretty clear. I'd say clear, but maybe just a little bit of cloudiness. That's
Yeah.
Pretty clear.
For all intents and purposes, I'll call this clear too, but you can tell this wine is not a fine wine. It's not translucent. Yeah, it's not a filtered fine wine, but for all intents and purposes, it's pretty clear. I mean, all that is just racking, you know, him just letting the wines kind of settle in stainless steel, let it settle for 12 months, and then racking it all off. And I say this all the time, like basically filtering is a cheat. If you let wine settle, if you just let it sit there and settle, it will get pretty damn clear. But oftentimes with the filtering, it's much easier to get it out quickly. But yeah, clear with a sign of non-filtration. Intensity.
It's intense. I would call this between a medium plus to a deep intensity.
Yeah. I'll call this pretty deep. Yeah, it's getting into the deep. I can't really see right through the center. It's got a lot of color. Yeah, I'm gonna say deep
right.
Color.
A color. I was gonna say it's a dark ruby to almost a red violet. I mean, it's a pretty deep color.
Agreed. I'm gonna call this mostly ruby. There's some little purpley bluish fleck to it, like a purplish color. But yeah, for intents and purposes, I would call this ruby, deep ruby. Any other observations? Any sediments?
No, I don't see any other observations. There's no sediment in my glass. I didn't see any in the bottle.
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah.
Good job. You get to pick the next person for the notes.
Any volunteers? Nobody? Shannon, you want to go?
Oops. Okay, can you guys hear us?
Yep.
All right, we're doing the nose.
Yep. You're doing the
Okay.
nose.
I feel like it's medium plus intensity.
Well, let's start with the condition of the wine.
Oh yeah, I don't have my glasses on. Okay. I feel like this is not 100% clean. I do see
Yep.
some VA.
Yep.
But I don't think it's overpowering to the point where I would say this is a faulty wine.
Totally. I'll call this wine sound, but you're totally right. There's some of that little balsamic vinegar going on here. A bit of like the elevated VA. You know, it's definitely an Italian natural wine. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, and intensity, I would say medium plus.
Yeah, this is like, I mean, I'm like here. Yeah,
Maybe
very,
wine?
very expressive. Medium
Yeah.
plus intense aromas. Ooh, what do you got?
What do we get, guys?
Also, who are your friends?
So this is Katie and
It's us again.
Ryan.
Ah,
I think you normally see Ryan on camera,
Yeah.
but now I have
yeah. Okay. Yeah, Katie, you were only your half of your face was on
Right.
the camera last time. So, all right. Good to see your full face.
It's like a little too far away.
Yeah, move it closer. I feel like I smell some floral, like dark flower petals.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pull it up.
Yeah, I think I would say violet.
Yep. Again, like purplish flowers. Yeah, violet.
We get some black and some red fruit.
Yeah, I don't get green citrus or stone fruit, no tropical.
Yep.
Yeah, red cherry and like black currant.
Yeah, I do get that like brambly.
Yeah.
thing that
I
we're
get a
talking
little bit
about.
of both. I get the
Yeah.
red and the black fruit here. If I were to like divide the proportions, I would say this is more black than red, but there's definitely some red here that I get.
I get a lot of black cherry too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of black cherries. I get really like ripe, like wild strawberries too.
Mm.
Yeah. It's like, you've ever had that Italian dessert where they put like really aged balsamic on strawberries?
Oh yeah. Oh,
To
that
me,
is
this
what
has-
it tastes like.
Yeah, this has a lot of that vibe.
Condition of the fruit, I would say this is like kind of a mix. We were tasting some like tart cherry, but also really, really ripe fruit.
Yeah, agreed. There's even some plumminess here, but like really ripe plum. Those strawberries seem really like bright and tart and puppy. But that may also be the effect of VH kind of lifting the nature of the fruit. But yeah, to your point, like I see both the kind of like the fruit, like the red fruit to me seems like it's just like coming into season, but black fruit seems like really ripe. Herbaceous, herbal?
I don't quite get, I mean, maybe some dried herbs, but nothing like green.
Yeah, I get little herbs here. I get like some sort of like a wild thyme, rosemary, something like that along the line. There's
Yeah.
something
Maybe even a little.
herbal, herbaceous here.
Yeah.
Any spice?
I want to say licorice, but I feel like it's maybe the VA.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite licorice. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, to me, when I was talking about that herbal, there's some licorice kind of a thing going on here as well, like fennelly, licoricey kind of thing. Yep. Any minerality, any rockiness?
I don't get it on the nose.
Yeah, I mean, to me, there's definitely some minerality here, but there's just so much fruit. Like it's just such a generous fruit forward wine that it kind of gets covered. But there's some like crushed rock, some of that going on here, some like a dark black kind of rock thing going on. But yeah, mostly just still when we're talking about it, this black red fruit, just ton of it is what I'm getting here.
Ryan said some salinity too, like saltiness.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say that to when we get to the tasting it, but to me, that's where earlier when I was talking about like this tastes like the place it comes from. Like to me, I taste all the sun in the fruit. right? And then I taste all that like dried herbs from just it being it's a very dry place here, and then the salinity in the wine, which is all that ocean breeze and being where it is. Like to me, this is exactly what I imagine the place would taste like if you have to distill it into a glass. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sorry. Any other question? Sorry. Anything else? Any secondary, any tertiary?
No. Maybe some savory notes, but I don't know. Do you guys get anything?
What was weird for me when I first smelled this wine, I thought there was oak on this. I was like, "You sure there's no oak on this? This is just all stainless steel."
Actually, no.
But
Kind of a lack of those.
there's some. What's interesting to me, there's a like touch of like this oxidative nature to some of this fruit, or like there's a kind of like a kind of like a roundedness to these characters that are coming out. Like it has touched oak, like almost like I guess some I don't know all the way like spices, but there's some like barrel vibe. But it may be the Alicante Boucher. Alicante Boucher is naturally or just very oxidative grape. Like it oxidizes quite easily. So even though it's like 10%, like some of that just may be coming in and then giving all that. At least that was the answer that was given to me by the sales rep. And that's the only thing that I can imagine why this would smell the way it does without it touching any oak. But to me, it almost like I was if I were to bet, I could bet that there was a touch of like a neutral oak on this thing, but there's not. It's all stainless steel. Any other thing?
Anything else? No, it's mostly what I guess.
Cool. You get to pick the next person for the palette.
Ooh, who are we picking? Let's pick Dave because he's sad he missed. I assume it says wine prom at the end of that.
Wine prom?
I am also sad I missed it.
I have a bit of a sinus infection, so I'm not sure I'm the best one to do the palate this time.
All right.
It's lovely, though. It's strong enough to taste it through all of that. If I can pass for the next time I'm around, that would be better.
Okay.
How about Joe?
Alrighty. So first of all, this wine's interesting. It's really pretty fantastic. We decanted it like a half hour before the call, and I don't know if everyone else did that or not, but it's really kind of evolved quite a bit. But anyhow, yeah, let's go through it. So it's dry. You guys hear?
Dry.
Yeah. Acidity. Yeah, there's some acidity on here for like a red like this. I call this medium plus. And like
Yeah. It's like it's not one of those wine that like acidity hits you as right away.
yeah.
Because there's so much fruit on here, I think our brain just kind of interprets it as sweet, like because there's so much fruit. But if you sit with it and if you really pay attention to wherever you feel acid, at least for me, like I feel it's pulling so much. Like there's a ton of acid on there, which is awesome.
Yeah.
The fact that you get this ripe and this like this much concentration, this much ripeness, and then yet you get this much acid, it's awesome. Still. But yeah, I'm gonna call this medium plus acid as well. Tannin.
I call this like medium to medium plus tannin. It's got some grip.
No, nothing. I'll go all the way to medium plus, but I'll definitely call this medium 10.
Yeah, I get kind of in between there.
Yeah. Alcohol.
Let's call it medium.
Guess the percentage.
I don't have that gene. It all tastes like water to someone like me. What do you think? 11? No way.
11. Wow.
What is it?
What is the
12.5. That was
percentage?
close.
Yeah,
It's a
12.
lower. It's a
It's-
lower alcohol.
You're supposed to guess, but not at the
I
bottom.
did. I said 11.
12.5, yeah.
12.5. So right down the middle. Medium.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. Like, so with Sicily, in a place like this, right? Like where you get that much warmth, that much sunlight, it is very easy for fruits to get really ripe, overripen, and the sugar and the alcohol to just jack up.
Yeah.
The fact that this is clocking at 12.5 is
Wow.
incredible. With this much acid, 12.5, like it almost makes me think that this was like acidified. Like there's no way this could be this fresh. But the fact that this has this much ripeness, this much concentration, and yet have this acidity and that low of ABV, it's my kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, body.
I call this like a medium bodied.
Mhm. Yep,
Um,
that's a weight. I'm gonna call this medium as well. Moving right now to talk about flavor intensity.
I would almost go medium plus to pronounced. I think this is a banger.
Yeah, medium plus for it as well. Like, I mean, just this wine does not lack concentration. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Medium plus intense flavors of. To confirm everything that Shannon called out, is there anything else that you get on this wine?
Yeah, so obviously it's very black fruit forward, but yeah, it was funny. We're laughing. We were confirming a lot of the things you guys. Alex here with me called pine. I was like, oh,
Pine, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of herbaceous, that dry herbs kind of thing. Yeah.
we were also kind of shocked. We're like, I can't believe there's no oak on this before you
Yeah.
brought it up. But going right through it, yeah, black, very, just obviously black fruit intense. I don't know what I would call it as far as cooked fruit, maybe like a touch, there's a little
Yeah.
bit of jammy going on here.
Black fruit.
As far as like herbal flavor, like there's just a lot of like interesting other flavors on here. There's definitely something herbaceous, has like that kind of menthol to me.
Yeah,
And
there's
things.
definitely some like
Um,
dry herbs. Yeah, especially now that I'm tasting it, even smelling it, like I'm getting more of the savory part of this wine.
Yeah, I get a little bit of the heavy, that kind of black licorice and
Yeah.
whetstone.
Yep.
Some other calls from Alex here. She called a wet baseball glove.
Like a leathery kind of a thing.
At least
Yeah.
on the nose.
Yeah, I mean, to me, so that's funny she calls it, but to me, Alicante Boucher has exactly that. And part of why I called oak on this thing is because of that. Like, there's that kind of leathery, animal-y kind of like, thing.
Mhm.
And like, I almost get it all the time with Alicante Boucher. And I know that it's only 10% that's in here, but Alicante Boucher is also a very aromatic variety. Like, it's often used as to add like perfume and things to things.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely see the touch of influence of Alicante Boucher on this thing. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
There's I would call a lot of savoriness. I would call like a bit of cheese, however they're pulling that off.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I mean, that balsamic really pops, like what Shannon was talking about, that BA. Like,
yeah,
to
it's a
me,
little
like,
savory, a little salty. Um,
yeah, it's like, to me, this is like a
wow.
bowl of red, wild, like strawberries, black cherries, blackberries, and like all these different fruit in a bowl with sprinkled sea salt.
Yeah, there's definitely like, it's definitely like it's salty,
Yeah, it's salty as fuck.
It's a little
And
easier to call on whites for me, but yeah,
Yeah.
this is a red. This you call this a salty red.
yeah, and then like drizzle it with like aged balsamic, and then like throw like thyme and lavender on top. Like that's
Yeah,
the
it's-
vibe that I get with this wine.
Yeah, really
Yeah.
good, really good.
There's a lot of different things going on. Secondary, tertiary.
Like I said, I get, it's so savory. So Alex had to step out, but she on the back on the nose, she called fresh cut salami. I was like, yeah, that's a good call.
Like a meatiness. Yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
It's It's so how it would develop that with what you've described, I don't know, but it's
Yeah.
definitely nice, some of that.
Yeah, it's really interesting to me that this is, again,
There's some cheesy saltiness here.
like a little cheese rind, like a leaves. Yeah, absolutely. Um, cool. Finally, the length.
Uh, I call this medium plus to long.
Yeah, it's got some length.
Delicious.
Yeah, I'm gonna call this medium plus myself. Cool. Bring it on for us. How good is this wine, and would you age it?
Very good. Definitely very good wine. Um, for the, I'm sure the price point is pretty outstanding. I, um, as far as aging it, yeah. What year is this already?
24, I think. What did I cut? 2021?
21, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
already got okay, yeah. So it's already got
Yeah.
a couple years on it. Yeah, I mean, I think you keep aging this for 5, 10 years. There's
Yeah,
enough.
so
I think there's enough tannin and acid to kind of do some
yeah.
stuff.
So let's talk about that for a second. So uh balance, concentration, medium plus on the nose, medium plus on the palate. Complexity wise, we call that bunch of stuff in the primary, but there's also that kind of meat, some of that kind of like tertiary starting to peek through there. Um, the leather gloves, things like that. Some of the oxidative nature, I think, is like not only in Alicante Boucher, but the fact that there's some. This is 2021, maybe a little bit of some of the tertiary start to show, and then the length we call it medium plus. So going all across, medium plus length concentration. I'll call this like medium plus complexity, medium plus length. So all around, we'll call this very good. As far as aging for potential for aging goes, um, we called it medium plus acidity, medium tannin. So very solid backbone, ton of intensity, ton of that fruit still holding on. I would still say this is very much a primary fruit driven wine, right? Like there's so much freshness still in this wine. And then tertiary just start to show through in year 5. And I would say this is still has at least like easily another 5 years to go, given what it is. So I think we're going to continue to see more tertiary coming in. This will probably develop more meaty, more savory. A lot of that kind of that savory quality that we're talking about is going to come out even more. But there's so much of that primary fruit still left here. You're not going to lose that freshness. So
Yeah,
I would say
there's a lot of Italian wines who don't have this much with this many years, and you can still keep them going for 10 at least.
right. So I mean, we're talking about total lifespan of 10, 12 years. And then I would say this still has good 5 to 7 years to go. I think this is going to probably be just fine. Like this will probably peak in about like 5 to 7 years, is what I would say. We'll probably the peak of where it goes. So yeah, there you go. Any questions about anything that I just went over?
I think this is one of the better reds you've had in quite a while, personally.
And all of this, when I first smelled this wine, I thought I was gonna hate it. I was like, fuck, it's like so ripe, so extracted. I'm like, fuck, I'm probably gonna hate this. And I tasted it, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, why is it so lifted? Like, it's rich without being heavy, if that makes sense. It's got so much concentration, so much complexity, but it doesn't feel like cloning. It doesn't feel heavy. Which is what I love about this wine. Like it's still got the freshness and the lift.
Have you had any previous? Is this your first bottle you've had from these guys?
Yeah, first time I've ever had wine from the US. Yep.
Do you think they're consistently good?
I mean, it's hard to say, but if they're making this quality of wine, I would imagine that their winemaking is solid. They're farming correctly. Like this kind of winemaking does not happen if the farming is not correct. If they harvest this too late, this wine would be way over the top, like big and heavy. If they got it too early, then it just would not have this kind of concentration or the complexity. So the fact that they timed it right, they're very light in their intervention in the cellar without being overhanded with it. That's probably part of the reason why that some of the VA peaks out and all of that, which tells me that, I mean, the guy that I mentioned earlier, the Salvatore Flori, I mean, he's kind of like a legend in terms of winemaking. So the fact that they hired him to be the kind of the partner in winemaking says a lot about how serious they're taking it. So yeah, I would imagine it's probably solid year after year.
Was this like a particularly good year, 2021?
21. I don't particularly know the actual vintage Sicilian vintage chart, so I don't know that 21 was necessarily a good year or the bad year for Sicilian wines, particularly this part of Sicily. Like, I don't know if there's actually a vintage chart for Lipari, to tell the truth. Like Etna, probably. Like, there's definitely a vintage chart for Etna, but I don't know if there's a vintage chart for Lipari. So I don't know, but something to I can research into for sure. Yeah. Any other questions? Cool. Did you guys like this one? Just out of curiosity. I mean, sounds like Joe and Alex liked it. I'm also curious about what you guys think, Katie and Ryan, as a California winemaker. I mean, Mediterranean climate. It's a very similar kind of climate that you guys are dealing with.
It's interesting because we just got back from Etna last week.
Oh, that's right. You guys were going to Sicily. That's right. We talked about this last time.
But not this region, right? We were tasting all Etna wines. But even up there, it was much colder than we thought it would be.
Etna gets cold because it gets way up. Yeah.
Yeah, and even at the lower elevations in that area, you know, and I do think it was an abnormally cold week, but we've always thought of Sicily as like comparable to California. But there's a lot more microclimates there, just like there are here. And it kind of surprised us with how cool it was. And so I'd be curious about the climate here because you have some of these big grapes, but it's so acidic and so bright. And so it does make me feel like either maybe it was harvested a touch early or you get a little bit more of that cool weather to kind of keep that acidity in it compared to, you know, growing, like we've had a lot of narrows grown in Southern California and you don't get this much acidity regardless of when you harvest.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely some varietal reasons here. The Quintonero itself probably retains acidity pretty well. And from what I know, that these islands get it's so fucking windy there that it just keeps the temperature in check. But cool. All right. What did you guys eat with this? I saw you guys are eating dinner.
Oh,
Shannon made
I'll show you
an incredible pasta.
My daughter left her plate. It's I made my own red sauce with some vegetarian sausage and zucchini, and it was such a good pairing because the like balsamic vinegar notes just it was perfect.
Awesome.
I feel like it definitely highlighted the wine. I think it's more of a food wine, like it really shone with the food.
I mean, as most Italian wines are, but absolutely. I mean, when I immediately tasted this, I was like, you know, I want like grilled lamb chops with like rosemary and like herbs. It's kind of what I was thinking.
The dried herbs.
It's a good reminder for us because I mean, we literally just went to Sicily, but talking about Sicilian wine as, you know, one thing. I mean, it's like talking about American wine as one thing. I mean, it was. We had wine that was nothing like this.
Right. Exactly. And that's the whole point of this month too. You know, it's like kind of talk about Sicily, but without Etna, because you know, Etna you can find Etna everywhere. But like, you know, let's talk some dry wines from Marsala, you know, and wines
even within Etna, we were surprised because I've had way more Nero d'Avola and it was nowhere to be seen. I mean, it was all Nerello Monzese and Caracote. So that was even different than I expected.
Yeah. I mean, you don't see much Nero once you get up to Mount Etna. Like that's like really the Nerello, Mescalese, Nerello, Cappuccio, like that territory up there. But
We really preferred it.
yeah, yeah. Right on. Cool. All right. Let's play everybody's favorite game. How much do you think this wine is on a retail shelf? How much would you be happy paying for this on a retail shelf? We called it very good with already 5 years age, with another 5 to 7 years to go. 24, 26, Joe 32, Shannon 25, 25, 38. All right, Alex. And the winner is Joe Knoble. This will be clocking at $31 on the retail shelf. I will be very happy to pay $31 for this. I think this punches way above 31, if you ask me personally. With this much complexity, this much aging already on it, with even more aging potential, I think this is way. I would see this as more of like a $35, $36 range kind of wine. So at 31, I would think this is fantastic value. Excellent. Any questions? Any comments? Any disagreements? All right, cool. Cool. Well, now I can ask you all about wine prom. Give me your wine prom feedback. What do you guys think? Did you guys have a good time, first of all? For those of you who were there.
Great time, man.
So much fun. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
Glad you had a good time, especially for your first time, Alex.
Yeah, it was the best.
Lots of
Loved it.
good photo ops with the champagne magnums,
That's true.
or
Excellent.
whatever that size is technically called.
We have photos to contribute.
A Gerambon. What is
Yeah,
it?
no, it was a magnum. I think you got a picture of me like drinking straight from the bottle and like exploding in my mouth.
Oh, I see that one.
Well, there is a photo of you guys.
Yeah, we got some photo.
It's a good one.
You said you were going to. I missed that. We were kind of running around at the beginning of the call. You said the photos are going up soon.
No, we
They're on there already. So I sent an email out with the Google photo album, and then all the selfie booth photos are already all on there. But
right, yeah, you didn't have a photographer running around this time, right?
I didn't have a photographer this year,
Yeah,
or last year actually.
But he said
we all have a camera. Okay, yeah, we have some choice photos we can.
Yeah, we'll crowdsource the photos, so put it up there.
Well, I went to Rodman's and bought 2 bottles of Lambrusco.
Yeah,
It was delicious.
nice, excellent. Yeah, I was that Lambrusco was delicious. I'll be honest with you, I bought that blind, but the guy, the set rep that I bought it from, I fully trust her palate, and we're kind of going back and forth about it. There was another one that I was going to get from her, but it was sold out. It like sold out last minute, so she's like, "Fuck!" But I just said,
Yeah, the orange Lambrusco was excellent.
"Yeah,
Yeah, I thought the cider that cider you put on the table went fantastic. I really
right."
I
I was so disappointed.
I was just chugging that. I was going the
How
other
little
way
people drink the cider. It's like, why aren't people drinking cider?
Oh no.
because I'm shameless. I was going to the other tables afterwards and just drinking it.
Yeah.
So legit. So I was in Frankfurt and like that cider was like carbon copy. It was like transported me to Frankfurt. Like it was legit. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially with the barbecue, it's like such a
Right.
like,
Yeah,
such a perfect pairing.
apples and
Yeah.
pork. That's
Yeah.
what you do.
What
But
you did. Yeah.
yeah, I was kind of just wandering around, lifting bottles. I was like, "Yep."
He was. I tried stopping him, but there's no stopping him.
No, that's fine. There's a lot of cider left. I'm like, why aren't people drinking? I've been on this on this fucking tear for so long, trying to get Americans to drink more cider, but it's just really hard to get them to drink more cider. So.
Weird.
Yeah, once it crosses that threshold of quality, it's like, oh shit, this is really
Exactly.
really good. I was really bummed when that place Supreme Court closed by the Arboretum. You ever
Wait,
go-
what?
It's a comment, Joe. We're loving your dog.
Oh, well, we like her too.
This is Whisper.
This is
Wait,
Whisper.
is that your dog, Alex?
No, no,
No, this is my girl.
Wait, when did you get a dog? I didn't know you got a dog.
I've always had her.
Yeah.
What?
She's just that quiet. That's why her name's Whisper.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
how did I know that you had a dog? Okay,
Mm.
well, shit. There you
She's a joint custody dog. Let's put it that way.
go. All right.
TMI. Anyway,
What time did you guys take off, Phil and Joe, from Wine Prom?
probably around 11:30.
But we didn't go far.
Yeah, we
We went next door.
we went to Death and Co.
You guys went to Death and Co after
Yes,
Wine
we were
Prom?
literally
That's
next
nuts.
door.
I don't know. We were just drunk. We are like, yeah, let's go to cocktails.
I was just a Canadian trying to experience the culture of Washington.
Well, we
It's gonna be that-
already made a plan to go, and as we're on our way out, we didn't realize everyone was hanging out in the selfie booth room. We're like, oh shit, everyone's here.
Yeah, apparently.
kind of like coded up and go like, all right, fuck it, you know.
I mean, I completely lost track of time, but apparently we like hung out there until like 2 a.m.
Nice.
Like, people were there drinking till 2 a.m.
Yeah,
That's
We went to Death and Co, had a drink, and then went home.
it was a stiff drink though.
Yeah,
You guys probably could have gone to Death and Co and then come back to Def Z.
Yeah.
it's probably the good thing we did.
We should have.
because-
Yeah.
Well, we should have next time.
What time did you leave, Phil?
I don't even. We could barely like flag an Uber down. Like, we were like on like whatever.
I think it was midnight.
Yeah, around midnight.
Phil,
Okay.
Phil, you were gone by midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you like that I made contributions this time?
Yeah, I did. Congratulations.
Phil called me out.
You were good.
You're on call, but you never say anything. So it's like, okay, I'll like say something through Joe this time.
There you go.
To translate for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any particular part of the wine prom, especially for you, Katie, because this is your first time? Joe's a veteran. Joe's been there many times. Phil, this is your second time, but any part of wine prom that like stuck out to you, and this is also true for everybody. Also, any part that like made you wanting more?
Oysters. They were terrific.
They
Yeah.
were amazing.
They were
Amazing.
great.
Yeah, because that was amazing. I loved as my first time, I loved the reveal of the dinner. Like I thought that was just like very sort of emotional in like the best way possible.
Yeah. Cool.
I don't know if you could like introduce what's on the table more. I think that might be good, right? To be like, this is how I've curated like what's on the table. And you could say like, this is what this is where it's sourced, this is why
Yeah.
I put it there. And perhaps that's why people might have like reached for the cider more.
Yeah.
You could have done like a rapido like wine club.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
quick
Yeah.
tasting. Right.
Because
You know, to tell
like,
the truth, I
these are
also
all
said this to
so curated.
I
Sorry.
said this to Jesselyn afterwards. It's like, I got, so in the past years, I like purposely did not drink at all till about like my speeches are all done.
Right.
I may have like a class, but this year, like, I don't know what happened, but like I was already like a bottle of champagne deep by the time reception started, like the oyster hour started.
I
So
think
like
that's
by the
good.
time like speeches came, I'm like, I don't know.
I think so.
Like, just go in
And
there.
your speech was awesome. And honestly, like
Hold it off.
yeah, and for the like the spirit and the tenor of like the whole night, I think that it like flowed well. I mean,
Yeah.
I think all what you don't need is like a whole room of like somewhat inebriated people, and you're like super sober, being like, okay, now let me give you my address. Kind of go with it. But yeah, I mean, I think honestly, it was a phenomenal night. Like it was
Good.
so much fun. Like
Good.
everything that there was a dance floor. It was awesome. It was so much fun.
Good. How about you, Phil? How about you, Joe?
I thought it worked out great. It was a good party.
Yeah.
You had a good crowd. Are all those people on the wine club? that attend?
Not all. We had this is probably the most number of non-wine club people that I've had at wine prom.
Yeah.
I was curious about that too. I was like, who are these people?
Yeah. A lot of friends through friends. Like friends who came last year and they have such a good time that they actually invited their friends. So it's like
Yeah.
friends of a friend. So which is all good thing, right?
Yeah.
In fact, I don't know if you guys heard, but there was actually a CEO, the head of NPR was there. At
No, I
wine
didn't
prom.
know
Yeah.
that.
Catherine Meyer. She was wearing like a sparkly dress with a fanny pack. But yeah, apparently CEO of the NPR was there. I was like,
Oh,
oh, okay.
that's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, it's almost walking distance, right?
yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, if you make the venue bigger,
Yeah,
not to say that I'm like well connected, but like I go bring some more people.
yeah, no, that's kind of like the what do you say, fork in the road, so to speak.
Yeah.
About next year, because we're not going back to that space. That space no longer available. So
So
either I'm gonna have to find a new space, keep it on the same side, maybe do it in like a restaurant or some sort of space where it's like a private dining room. We rent out the private dining room or something, and then have the restaurant take care of the kind of the food and everything. Or actually go like try to build the site even bigger and then like actually make it like a public event and like I'll sell
Yeah.
tickets to the public and then like do it at a
I think you should do that.
so I don't know. I mean, I like the idea of keeping it like cozy and intimate for the wine club people. And if I definitely go the public route, I will have a separate event for the wine club people just so that we
Sure.
can have our own intimate event. But yeah, so that's just kind of something that I have to decide and figure out what to do.
Yeah, and make sure you poll everybody. Like a lot of us have been embedded in the area for a while, so there might be some good ideas about venues that
Yeah,
are not
for sure.
really obvious.
I can create the survey for you. This is what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will create the survey for you.
Well, I mean, I sent out the feedback survey out there, but I would love to get your feedback on my feedback survey.
Yes, sure. I will like redo your entire eval survey for you. This is like
You'd be
literally
like-
what I do.
You're like, these are fucking terrible questions.
Yeah,
Ask
I
better
may,
questions.
but I wouldn't. I would say it nicely though, because I am Canadian. They're like, what do you think about this? Do you think
Yeah.
this? Like, what do you think about that? Oh,
You're gonna apologize for my bad
exactly. Like,
questions.
sorry, but like,
Yeah.
you think maybe we should add this?
Yeah.
Nice.
Heard.
Anyhow, yeah, looking forward to it. And like as the time comes, yeah, definitely poll people about changes and ideas.
Yeah, for sure.
And
you know,
venue, like I said, a lot of us can probably connect you with a venue or ask someone who
Yeah.
doesn't know.
it's DC after all. I mean, people go to so many events and know different spaces and event spaces.
Yeah, exactly.
So would you do it again in April, or would you stick it to stay in March?
So the whole reason I did it in April is because April is my anniversary. It's a wine club's anniversary month.
Ah,
So it's always been kind of like an anniversary month celebration. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think doing it in March versus April made any difference?
Not really.
I don't know. It depends. Like when in April?
It's always the last Saturday of April. So
Yeah.
it's the
So
same
like the
weekend.
end of I will
It's the same
say-
weekend as the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
You want to avoid people going on spring break but
Yeah.
then all the kids who do Easter and you don't want to overlap Easter. You don't want to, but there's a lot of people on April break last week and this week in this area. Like
Maybe
yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like
not April.
where you did it was great, I think. And if you were going to go back to April, make sure it's like in the latter half.
No, I don't know. Okay, so latter half, like I would say like the beginning of the latter half. If you have anybody that is adjacent to academia, like exams are the last week of April. So like just and if anybody's in school,
Yeah, but-
you have people who are like simultaneously doing their MBA or doing
you're not going to study on Saturday night. I never did.
I like that. I
I
like that.
demand it of my students. I'm like, if you dare do anything.
That's
Although
funny.
if they did say that I'd be studying wine, it'd be like, good on you.
Yeah.
Anyhow, good shit, man. Yeah, as the time comes next year, poll people for.
I
I'll
have
help you. I will genuinely create this questionnaire for you.
Okay.
I'm not kidding.
No.
All right.
I've literally.
I missed I was in Iceland when you did this wine. This one.
Uh-huh.
Can I get it on Case Club this month or is it too late?
I mean, that's already passed, but I can get you more of it. Yeah.
This was excellent.
Yeah, that wine is so fun. I love that wine. Yeah, let me know. Just shoot me a
I will.
email with how many you want, and then yeah, I don't know if I can get it right away, but I'll definitely be able to get it.
Oon, we're gonna check out, man.
Yeah, I got to go too.
Cool.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you guys. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. It's a lot of fun.
You
Wine
too.
Club turned out, the prom was great. You did a good job. Congrats.
Awesome. Thank you. Glad you guys all came.